Hello friends, in today's session we will learn about the journal equilibrium of IS and LM curve. In this session our objective will be to cover equilibrium of both independent markets, that is goods and money market. Secondly, to understand the effects of changes in equilibrium in either of the markets. And lastly, critically evaluate the journal equilibrium. So let us start with simultaneous equilibrium in the two independent market, that is goods as well as money market. We will term this equilibrium as journal equilibrium as it is common for both the markets. Journal equilibrium is achieved at that point where the IS and LM curve intersects each other. This journal equilibrium ensures simultaneous equilibrium of rate of interest, which determines the level of investment, and hence the equilibrium level of income is derived for given rate of interest. The IS-LM model is based on investment demand function, the consumption function, the demand for money function, the quantity of money. Thus, the IS and the LM curve relate the two important components, that is income and rate of interest. In this figure, as shown, the equilibrium rate of interest is determined as OR2 and the level of income is determined OY2. At this point, income and the rate of interest stands in relation to each other such that the goods market is in equilibrium, that is the aggregate demand equals the level of aggregate output, and the demand for money is in equilibrium with the supply of money. It is noted that in IS-LM curve, the real factors like savings and investment, propensity to consume and propensity to save, that is consumptions and savings, demand for money and supply for money, all these play a very important role in determining the rate of interest and thereby the level of income. As it is noticed that any changes in factors mentioned here brings shift in either IS curve or LM curve, which in turn brings changes in equilibrium levels of the rate of interest and income. IS-LM curve has succeeded in explaining shifts in IS curve due to changes in propensity to consume or save, and shift in LM curve due to changes in supply of money. We will now explore such causes which brings shift in IS-LM curve. Let us now learn effects of changes in supply of money on rate of interest and income level. Hence, we will observe a shift in LM curve. Consider a situation where the monetary authorities increases the supply of money. As a consequence to same, now more money will be available for speculative motive at a given level of income. Hence, we will observe fall in rate of interest. As a result, LM curve will shift to right and level of income will increase. As given in the figure here, we can observe the equilibrium at point E goes down to point H as there is a fall in rate of interest and income increases. Contrary to this, as rate of interest increases, it is evident that new equilibrium is formed at point G and LM curve shifts to left. Second, let us now observe changes in the desire to save or propensity to consume. Now say there is a change in consumption pattern. Say the desire to save falls, that is consumption increases. Thus the IS curve shifts rightward. With LM curve remaining unchanged, we find a new equilibrium point at H with higher rate of interest and higher level of income at each level of rate of interest. Thus, fail in desire to save increases the rate of interest and level of income simultaneously. Contrary to this situation, If say that desire to save increases, the propensity to consume reduces. The aggregate demand curve shifts towards left or downward, and finally the level of income will reduce at each level of rate of interest. Due to this, the IS curve shifts towards left and LM curve remains unchanged. Now let us understand what if there is a change in autonomous investment and government expenditure. The changes in autonomous investment and government expenditure is also a cause of shift in IS curve. If there is increase in autonomous investment and government expenditure, then the aggregate demand for goods will increase, and this brings increase in national income through the multiplier process given by Keynes. Due to this, the IS curve shifts to the right and LM curve remains unchanged. The level of income and the rate of interest both increases. This effect can be clearly explained with the help of a diagram. In this figure, the LM curve remains unchanged and the IS curve shifts from IS to IS dash towards right, a dotted line as can be seen. The new equilibrium is formed at H, where rate of interest increases from R1 to R2. The income level also increases from Y1 to Y2. Hence, increase in autonomous investment and government expenditure increases the rate of interest and income. Let us now see the changes in LM curve. If there is a change in demand for money or liquidity preference, let us now understand changes in demand for money or liquidity preference changes. Changes in demand for money or liquidity preference brings changes in LM curve. If there is increase in demand for money or liquidity preference, then the LM curve will shift towards left. This happens due to higher demand for money. Given supply of money will raise the rate of interest corresponding to each level of income. Due to this, the LM curve shifts the left side and IS curve remains unchanged. The level of equilibrium gets changed. Same is explained with the help of diagram. It is observed here that the IS curve remains unchanged and LM curve shifts from LM to LM dash towards left. The new equilibrium is formed at T, where rate of interest increases from R1 to R2 and the income level reduces from Y1 to Y0. Hence, as there is increase in demand for money or liquidity preference, then the rate of interest rises and income reduces. Now we will throw some light on limitations which IS-LM curve model has. First, static theory. It is the static theory that only explains the short-run behavior of the economy. Secondly, interest rate not flexible. The theory is based on the assumption that the interest is flexible and varies with the changes in LM and IS. Investment is not interest elastic. The theory assumes that investment is interest elastic, but in actual it is not. It is highly artificial. According to Don Patkinson, the Hicks-Hansen theory is highly artificial and oversimplified because it divides the economy in real and monetary sector. Lastly, closed model. According to Professor Ruan, the Hicks-Hansen theory is a closed model which does not take into consideration the effects of international trade. In spite of these limitations, the utility of IS-LM technique is explaining the determination of the interest rate in an economy cannot be undermined. So let us summarize the session. In this session, we learnt the intersection of IS and LM curve. We also discussed the various factors that causes the shift in IS and LM curve. We also discussed the effects of various shifts on IS and LM curve and the limitations of the model. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.